Welcome back to All the Work, a video blog of my restoration of my 1988 Ski Supreme. I am Joe, a stay-at-home dad who got the opportunity to restore this old ski boat. I had no previous boatwork experience, however, I love this boat and I was totally willing to put in as many hours as it would take to restore this bad boy and make it better. I've always wanted to take on a project of this magnitude, and this boat provided the perfect opportunity for me to take on something like this. This is part 34 of the boat build. We start with a continuation of day 127 where I'm getting all the wiring done up under the gas tank for a house light in the back, as well as hooking up the blower and routing that wire all the way through and up to the gunnel. On day 128, I finally tackle aligning my engine properly. After using a lot of penetrating oil and trying to jimmy the rear of the engine around, I realized that I couldn't quite get it lined up to the shaft. So I needed to crank on the front of the engine with my big pry bar and move the front bolts over a little bit. I had my neighbor Paul, who's 87 years old and a totally amazing human, come over and help me do that. I cranked on it while he did the tap, tap, tap with a piece of wood and a hammer to get the engine to kind of shift a little bit as it went. It actually went incredibly smoothly and way faster than I thought, and I was able to get a .004 caliper in all the way around my shaft for a great alignment. I feel really good about it. The thing runs smooth. I think I did a pretty good job. So once I had the shaft hooked up, I replaced the impeller, installed the propeller, got the mufflers hooked up, and ran the fuel lines through. I'm also prepping to install the fuel tank, so I'm doing all the wiring behind the fuel tank, as well as re-hooking up the speedometer hose that I had disconnected to install the shower in the back, getting that thing mounted, which turned out to be a real chore. I had to put the rear floor into the boat so I could lay on that and get in there and do it, because I couldn't do it from the awkward angle before. After getting the kids to bed, I spray painted the throttle assembly. I got the really expensive spray paint. I wanted to go top dollar. I did a really good job of sanding it down so it looked really nice. And it was just a simple spray paint job and it came out looking great. Day 129 was all about installing the fuel tank. There was a lot of stuff to do around installing the fuel tank. It really went quite smoothly and it felt like just in the nick of time. I would remember as I was putting the fuel tank in, pull it out, put the boat cleats on first because that's the last time I'm going to be able to access those. So I did that, made sure I got all the wiring done, got everything strung around. I even put the extra wire coming down so I can get a house light up under my doghouse to be able to see the engine. And I think I checked all my boxes, did a really good job, and I'm really happy with it. When I took the fuel tank out, there were these thick rubber pads that were underneath it. And when I put it back in, I couldn't find the same thickness rubber pad anywhere at Home Depot, so I decided just to use my Seadek, and I used a pad of Seadek up under the tank as well as a pad of Seadek sitting down on the floor of the boat, so those two pads sit together and bounce a little bit. I realized as I'm putting the fuel tank in that I'm covering up my rudder connection. So I run inside and grab my new steering cable and check it to see if I'm going to be able to do the installation of the rudder with the fuel tank already installed. Turns out I'm gonna have good access down there and I don't need to install the steering cable right now. I did need to do a little bit of grinding to get the fuel tank to sit in perfectly. I used my Fordham for that, it worked great. I had to get a shim for the braces holding the fuel tank in. After I get the kids to bed, I installed the throttle cable. That took a little bit of doing. I had to verify with my phone a number of times to make sure I was routering the wires properly and getting it all set up correctly. Turned out to be super easy. I did a little bit more wiring. I also painted the gas cap with the same spray paint as I used on the throttle cable. However, I did not leave it enough time to dry, and I poured gas into the boat too soon and kind of got a little bit of erosion of the paint. But who cares? Nobody's gonna notice. Everything looks great. And then I installed the carpet over the driver's seat boat mount, and I was up to probably 2, 3 in the morning again. Day 130, I mount the gas cap and fuel the thing up. This is where I spill a little gas on it and create a little scratch, no big deal. I wire up the ignition and I'm ready to start the thing. That is it for this video. In the next video, I finish pushing the boat all the way out in the driveway and I get this thing started. Takes a little doing, but it starts and it's good to go. If you're liking what's going on here, please subscribe. It means a lot. Keep shredding.